Hi, everybody. As you noticed, I got cut off in the middle of my presentation in the previous video. I completely forgot that I could only record for 13 minutes with this software, excuse me, for 15 minutes with this software. So I'm going to start the second part of this explanation with this video. I'll go back and repeat a little bit. What we were discussing was the importance of you writing sentences to connect the parts of your essay. For example, you're going to write a sentence to connect the topic sentence with any evidence, the next piece of evidence. In this page, it's a paraphrase. And then before you put more information from your research, you're going to add more explanation. So as we see here, we have the paraphrase. Sarah Porter, in her book Let's Get Physical, describes how students' lack of physical activities results in poor academic performance. And then the part to connect says 7 hours of sitting, writing, and thinking makes students physically weary. Additionally, and that's your transition to the quotation, Ms. Porter describes the attitude of one of her students. I sit and think and sit and write and fall mentally asleep. If I could just get up and do a lap around the schools, I know I could wake my mind up again. After that, you can't end a paragraph with purple or gold. You're going to need to end it. In this case, we're going to end it with a green sentence. And in a few minutes, I'll show you another way to end that paragraph. But in this case, this sentence draws the idea to a close, the idea discussed in this paragraph to a close. In other words, there's your transition. Students simply need to be able to move in order to think better. Let's try another one. This time, we're going to look at your sentence outline. And this is what you haven't done yet, but you will be doing. And when you do write your outline, this is a good thing for you to practice, to connect your first topic sentence with the first piece of information from research that you have in your outline. So before you could actually do this, you need to have done your outline already. You can't really do your outline until you've done your research. One builds on the other. You want to remember to use a transitional phrase that helps smooth one sentence to the next. And you want to remember not to repeat the previous sentence, in that the sentence needs to add more information, a different example, a detail, a date, something. Another color of sentences that you will use are blue sentences. At the end of each subtopic, you will analyze the evidence you presented, explaining why it proves your thesis statement. It can be as short as one sentence or as long as a paragraph. It's not a summary of your evidence. It answers the question, so what? And by that, I mean you have given the reader, let's say, first of all, let me re-explain. A subtopic is what would be a topic in your 5-paragraph essay. A subtopic is a topic, but it's going to take more than one paragraph to do. So after, let's say it took you 3 paragraphs to do that subtopic, at the end of the 3rd paragraph, you would have a blue sentence. And in that sentence, you would explain why the information you have given in those paragraphs supports your thesis. And that it's a concluding sentence for that subtopic. And it's in blue. So let's look at that last subtopic and talk about how we could describe how this proves the thesis. Physical exercise, this is the thesis. Physical exercise is important to growing children and teens because it positively affects every area of their lives. The first subtopic sentence is, Physical activity provides great benefits for students in schools. In this example, the subtopic is only one paragraph, and that's also a possibility, but you may have more than one paragraph. Keep that in mind. We look down here, we've been through these parts where we see the topic sentence, explanation, paraphrase, explanation, quote, explanation, and then the concluding part to the subtopic. Test scores and statistics prove that students who are given an opportunity to stretch both their minds and their bodies, whoops, sorry, I gotta go back. I hit the wrong thing. Excuse me, there, I need to pull this down. Test scores and statistics prove that students who are given an opportunity to stretch both their minds and their bodies during a school day perform better in all areas of academics. With this proven data, why would any school want to limit its physical education program? And you may be aware that in some parts of the country, when budgets get tight for school divisions, sometimes that's what they cut, or things that really help students be more successful academically, things like physical education, art, music, those things. This next section gives you a chance to do this yourself. So this is something you can come back to once you have your outline, where you'll want to read your thesis statement, read your first subtopic sentence, read your newly added green sentence, read all your evidence, reread your thesis statement, and then answer this question. How does all that evidence prove your thesis? For instance, you might start your answer with, these statistics prove that, or this evidence suggests that. How well will you explain your ideas? You are the lawyer that links together all the evidence. The evidence is the green sentences. Your quotes and paraphrases are your witnesses, the yellow and the purple. And your blue analysis sentences are your final summation. So if you can make this connection, this analogy to being a lawyer, that may help you understand what you're supposed to do in your paper. So once you've done your outline and you're writing your first draft, and you've written your first draft, then what you want to go back and check to see if there are purple sentences that bump up to other purple sentences, and separate them with green. You want to be careful about your writing style. Don't use you. Avoid first person. No conversational language, no text language, no informal language, no slang. And most of all, or importantly, is that you should read the rubric that I'm going to use to grade your first draft. It's different from the rubrics before because it does include whether or not you have a counter argument, whether you have a refutation. It gives you points for doing a works cited page, for including in-text citations, and all of that is graded on how well you do it. The first draft is going to count, I think, 52 points, and I will be posting that rubric in week, I think it's week 9, where you will actually be assigned this rough draft. We're talking about it now so that you can be starting to work on it and starting to mentally prepare yourself for what's coming. And right now in week 9, it just says I'm going to be adding some more information to the assignment. I'm going to be adding this PowerPoint so you can go back and look at that again. You'll also have the videos, and I will include the rubric there too. Okay, so theoretically, you're now ready to write your research paper in a professional way. Again, I'm going to be, let's see, that's not what I wanted to say. Hang on. Oh, I'm going to be adding more videos. I will be adding a video on how you are to integrate a quotation into your paper. You can't just put it in quotations and drop it in the paper. You have to introduce it correctly. So you will have a video on that, and possibly a video on, I don't know that you need a video on Works Cited because you've already done those, but that's where we are. And hopefully I will see you tomorrow in our session at 2 o'clock. If you can't make it, but you have a question, send me the question and I will make sure I answer it, or have someone in class who is there ask the question. I'm going to record that session and then you can watch it later. Have a good evening, everybody.